Hello world, Alexandre Buckley here, and let's talk games. So for this one we're going to be talking about another game on the Apple Arcade, and that is going to be called Sociable Soccer, which is a fantastic title. It just reminds me of everything to do with Pro Evolution Soccer. It just kind of that weird non-licensed thing, that bundle. Yeah, wondrous stuff. So, one of the things that I was looking for on Apple Arcade, because I quite like the platform and I like the potential that Apple Arcade has got. One of the things that I've noticed is really lacking from them is sports games. There's not many sports games, the ones they have aren't great. So when I saw they put on a football game, because I'm based in the UK, and pretty much if you're based in Europe you call it football, it's only America you call it soccer. That's another debate, not getting into it. You know, this is the most popular sport, so I figured, there should be a good football game on the actual platform. And I haven't found one, so when I saw this I was like, I'll give this a go and see what it's like. This is a weird one. The more time I spent with it, the more disappointed I got with it. When I first started, I thought this sounded pretty sick. I thought it was like a weird hybrid of like a management sim, but also, do you know what the best example is actually? If anyone's ever played FIFA and they have career mode, you have the option of treating it like a management sim, but you also have the option of actually playing the games, and that's kind of where I thought this was going to fall into. It's like a weird mix of that, but obviously with lower end graphics. The graphics kind of remind me of the Football Manager games when they sort of render the games out on your computer. It's not really about the graphics, but I thought, sure, that'll be interesting. But it kind of presents itself as this management sim in the training part of the game, which you can see some footage of, and I kind of thought, that sounds cool. They're going to hire you to be a manager of a club, whatever. I thought it would all be fictional teams as well, which is not, which is odd. And then from there you could play the games if you wanted to, or just simulate them. I thought that's a good idea. That's quite a unique idea. Which it kind of is that, but it's not really that. It's kind of, the idea is half-baked at the moment, in my opinion, because it doesn't really fully go in either way. The other thing that I find very weird is some players have their real names and some players don't. Licensing, do you know what? Let's just call it licensing. Let's just go crack on that. Licensing is a big issue in this game because it seems like sometimes they want to have licenses and sometimes they don't. So I'll give you an example. Some of the clubs are actually on here, so you have like Arsenal and Liverpool, but then for some reason you've got Manchester Red and Manchester Blue. Don't know what that's about. In my opinion, the licensing in sports games is very straightforward. Either you have licenses or you don't, because if you don't have the licenses and you only have a few licenses, it raises questions of, well, why don't you have more licenses? So I don't really get it. I don't really understand why they have some licenses and they don't. To me, it's just all or nothing. There's no point, having 2 or 3 teams. Just have the whole thing or don't have any at all. It looks stupid. That's my personal opinion on it. Not going to change my opinion on it. That's how it should be. So that's one thing. The licenses are kind of all over the shop. The second thing is the players as well. The player names are all over the shop as well. So it's one thing not having clubs and teams and stuff. It's another thing having player names that are kind of fake and then some that are real. That's also a mess. So the licensing is an issue. The gameplay. Let's go on to the actual gameplay. The gameplay is not great. I feel like in the training game it felt like there was potential for this. It felt pretty straightforward and simple. When it comes to actually playing a match, passing is a lot more difficult than you think it is, and this is one of the weird exceptions where you have the option of using a controller or using the touch controls, and I feel like the touch controls are a lot more accurate than the actual controller, which doesn't make sense because controller should, generally be speaking, give you more flexibility, more control. You can map actual things to certain buttons, but even with that, the controls just don't feel great with the controller. I was using a PlayStation 4 controller and it felt very difficult and challenging to actually control the players and stuff. Not happy with that. But yeah, using the actual touch controls was fine. But overall, I think the controls are a little bit lacking. Passes don't seem to have the sort of weight to them. They don't feel great. And that's a bit weird, so it's really hard to sort of gauge if you're passing to the right person or anything like that. It seems like a bit of luck if the person gets it. Tackling isn't great. Everything looks like you're going to get sent off. Do you know what the worst bit is of this game? And just before we get into that, actually, just going to mention it. The graphics are fine. Nothing special. They're just fine. I had no problem with that. But then again, if it's a management sim, the graphics don't really matter. But because you can also play it, I don't know, I just feel like because you've got the play in there, it should just be a little bit higher. in graphics. It's just there's something off about them for me, but whatever. The thing about this game though, which is really odd, this is the best sports game that I have found on Apple Arcade, and that's not a good thing. They really need to fix that. But then what's funny as well is when you go into the actual Apple Arcade on your actual iOS device or even on your Mac or whatever, you actually notice that there's no section for sports anyway. There are sports games on there, but you have to literally sort of type in sports to find them. There's not even a category they consider, so it's clearly something they're not putting a focus on. Odd to sort of not have that market covered, but yeah, that's going to be somewhere they can expand, and it's an opportunity for them to grow in the future, but really disappointing. So yeah, Sensible Soccer is a weird one. It started out and I thought this was going to be really good, and the more I played it, the more I realised that it's kind of just okay. I think this is a game that if you spend a lot of time on it, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of it, but for me, I'm not going to commit the amount of time that the game wants me to get the most out of it, because I feel there are too many red flags for me, no pun intended. Should have said red cards, that would have been better play on words. Can we pretend I said red card? Let's pretend I said red card. I feel like there are better ways to do this, essentially. I think they should have gone either full management, or they should have gone for like just an arcade simmy shooty game. And this reminds me of a very retro-y type game, but they didn't do that, so it's kind of, it is what it is, which isn't great. So yeah, but yeah, best sports game on the platform, but it doesn't say a lot. Yeah, this is kind of an in-the-middle game. If you're into football really and you really want to play a football game, then grab it. If not, just avoid it. It's not really worth the time. And that's going to pretty much do it for my review on Sensible Soccer. So if you do download this, let me know what you think in the comments, because I'd like to know if it's just me that thinks this is a bit of a weird mix, or, you know, whatever. And it's not because I lost, by the way, because I know some of you are looking at the clips going, he didn't like the game because he got smashed in this game. It's like, no, that's not the reason why I didn't like this game. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of issues there, basically. Anyway, if you like the content that I'm putting out, please hit the like button. And yeah, if you've got any comments on how I can do things better, then please let me know, because I'm trying to develop and grow the channel. And speaking of growing the channel, if you are digging the content, please hit the subscribe button. It does help me out. It does help reach more people and helps grow things. So it'd be awesome if you could subscribe. And one final note, if you are digging the background music in the background, I've got this track from Ben Sound. This track is called Going Higher. It's royalty-free music, but you know, feel free to check him out. His website is bensound.com. There'll be a link in the description as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I will catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.